Well, you see immediately the Conteh from England, the a little bit of an aggressor, and I would say, based on the way these two guys fight, Purdy Pacheco, that they're not going to stand back and feel one another out. They're going to start swinging, as we see right here. They're going to go after one another right away.
Well, Conteh's got a terrific desire to become the champion, and he's no question the finer boxer as far as technically is concerned. He's got a great jab, but he's got a lot to be afraid of with Muhammad, because Muhammad can lay you out with one punch, as he proved in his taking the title about a year ago.
Well, he did that in July against Marvin Johnson, this boy from South Philadelphia in the white trunks, Matthew Saad Muhammad. He was cut badly in that fight, as many will recall, over both eyes, but he was able to come on and in the 12th round score a knockout over the then champion Marvin Johnson from Indianapolis.
Well, that's going to be his problem. You saw him put a lot of Vaseline on his brows. He's got to worry about cuts, because Conteh's going to keep a stiff jab going. That's one of the things that Conteh is very impressive about. His left jab is just a thing of beauty. And, of course, he's got all the confidence of having been a champion. There's the Saad hook, which Conteh catches very neatly on his right glove.
Well, a slight weight advantage for the challenger, Conteh. Right in on the line at 175 pounds. Muhammad at 172.5. The ring, as we said, is 18 foot. I don't know whether that's an advantage to either fighter, because this is where they're going to be. They're going to be right in front of one another here for most of the scheduled 15 rounds, if it goes that, and many expect that it won't. The champion in white trunks, Muhammad, is the favorite in this fight, and it's coming from Atlantic City.
Well, I think they could fight in a football field. It wouldn't make much difference. As you say, Bob, they're going to be right in front of each other. They both want it badly, and Saad with a nice little volley there. He's trying to catch Conteh while he's cold, but Conteh started out pretty hot here.
Very strange about Conteh, the former WBC light heavyweight champion, who had held the title for 2.5 years. He didn't lose the title in the ring, Purdy. There was an argument over television first and the location of the fight. So now he's trying to regain it in the ring.
Well, he's had a lot of difficulties in and out of the ring. He had a lot of personal problems, a lot of managerial problems. He's got it all straight for this fight. All his personal problems are behind him, his managerial problems are behind him, and now he's only got one problem in front of him. That's Matthew Saad Muhammad, and it is a massive problem.
I wonder, as he continues, Conteh does, in the dark trunks, to flick out that left jab, that even though the champion was cut severely a year ago in that fight with Johnson, that he's not thinking of that. He's been told, you know, work on the eyes, and let's see if we can use that as part of an advantage. Okay, the end of round one. The bell for round two, and both fighters meet in the center of this 18-foot ring. It is coming from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
That first round, the advantage was to Conteh, because he kept the pressure on him, because he was hooking and jabbing well.
Well, a good right thrown, overhand right, just missing the chin of the challenger, Conteh. Keeps his hands high. It's sort of you'll notice him with his left. A lot of fighters do that, Purdy. They sort of take their glove and bounce it off their forehead. What is it? That's just an idiosyncrasy of boxers?
It's a nervous movement that they do. They pick that up in the gym. I don't think it really is anything to be concerned about one way or another. People like to leave that in. It just keeps them active.
Conteh a little bit up on his toes. The champion, Muhammad, sort of a little bit flat-footed. And he's a belter. He's just looking for that opportunity. He likes to take people out, as you said in round one, Purdy. And good left hook. You see him just jab, and once in a while throw a looping right hand. But the left hook, I guess, is his effective punch.
Don't forget that Conteh's knocked out 23 people in his 33 victories. So that look at his stance. Look at Conteh's stance. His wide stance, which means he's ready to throw that right hand after that jab anytime he sees the opportunity. He's very wide for a guy that wants to move around as much as he does in this round.
Well, Muhammad's a new champion. This is his first title defense, and he has a look of respect, I would say, for this veteran from England, Conteh.
I think he's been rather tentative in the first round. He's gone more. He's opening up more now, and he's definitely got to go to the body with Conteh. Conteh's got to be slowed down, or else he'll be picking at him all fight long. There's a nice combination that almost hit but didn't, by Matthew Saad Muhammad. Again, the same three-punch combination.
4 years difference in their age. The champion on the right, 24, Conteh, 28.
I think Conte's an old 28. He's had a lot of action over the last few years in boxing and in his personal life, but he certainly, none of that ring rust shows today. He's sharp.
Both fighters are appearing to be well conditioned, and if he's an old 28, his body is probably a young 28, at least in appearance anyway.
In appearance it is.
Good right there, just missing again, and I'm sure before this is over that right hand is going to meet its target, and that is the chin of the challenger Conteh in the dark trunks.
Well, no question, you can see Matthew stepped up the action considerably in this round. He's made John fight a lot more than he wants to this early in the fight. Remember, this has got to go 15 rounds. That's got to be on John's mind.
All right, counting down now to round 2, 7, 6 seconds, and round 2 just about coming to an end. A look at the challenger, John Conteh. We are set for round 4. Round 3, much the same as the first 2 rounds, Bertie.
Yes, about an even fight up to this point. You can see Adolfo Ruticchio, who was brought in as a cut man, applying an awful lot of grease. They apparently are as worried about the cut as Matthew Saad Muhammad was coming into this fight.
It's scheduled for 15 rounds. It's for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. And the fight is taking place in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The challenger, Conteh, on his feet at the bell. And here we go with round 4. Well, once again, they come out to the center of the ring, and that is the champion in the white trunks, Matthew Saad Muhammad, the Philadelphian. Leading again with the jab, and Conteh trying to go downstairs and now coming up with his jab to the head of the champion.
So far, this first 3 rounds has been the story of Conteh's jab, keeping Matthew at bay, and Matthew trying to do what he wants to, but not able to with John Conteh, who moves very, very well for a 28-year-old, who the rap says was shot coming into this fight. He's far from shot. He looks very, very good to me.
That's very quick, and you see him continuing. You mentioned the good moves of the challenger Conteh, an experienced man, a good boxer, a good defensive fighter. You see him perhaps early in this fight, as we are in round 4, frustrating the champion, who has missed several overhand rights, and his effective left hook continuing to miss Conteh as he's able to just step out of the way of that quick thing. But the jab effective. It is once, twice by the champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad. Again, missing the right. I guess that is Ferdy because it collects there a good left hook, but I said missing the left and the right because of the way Conteh, a master in the ring at boxing, and just moving out of the way. And
Conteh's a fine, fine defensive fighter. You just saw him come back with a hook just then. You have to watch out with a fine, fine fighter like John Conteh, because his counter punches can take an awful lot of it out of you. Matthew Saad Muhammad has been doing very well in that department. He's not getting hit much, and he's leading a lot this round. He's starting to pick up the pace a great deal now.
Well, it's been very close as we are in round 4. The first 3 rounds fairly even. But I think you will see that the pace now starting to pick up a little bit more, and perhaps good right hand thrown by the champion.
Wonderful right hand. Wonderful right hand by Saad, and I don't think John Conteh can afford to gamble with that right hand as much as he's doing right now, because that is a bomb. Remember, he's got 5 knockouts in a row, does Saad Muhammad, and that's got to be preying on Conteh's mind as well.
And 8 of his last 10, including the 12th round knockout to win the title just about a year ago in July of 1977.
I think that was a come-from-behind prayer victory.
It certainly was, because it looked, if you might recall, many of you, that the champion was cut badly about both eyes. Okay, less than 25 seconds remaining in round 4 of this WBC light heavyweight title match, and the champion in white trunks taking a couple of jabs to the chin and the face by the challenger John Conteh on the left of your screen.
So far it's been a chess game, Bob. Both fighters trying to feel each other out.
Okay, round 4 just about over. Well, Conteh on his feet first, comes out to meet the champion. It is scheduled for 15. They are in an 18-foot ring. The 3 knockdown rule has been waived, and thus far you can see both fighters relatively unmarked for the WBC World Light Heavyweight Champion. John Conteh in the dark trunks. He's from Liverpool, England. He's the English champion, and one of the few times that referee Carlos Padilla has to break up these 2 light heavyweights.
Well, you know, a fight's good if you haven't seen the referee around, and you certainly have not seen him around for the first 4 rounds.
Well, the referee there warning the champion about something.
It was a low blow on a body blow, but it was really unintentional. There's no way to stop that.
Well, we saw on the replay a good left hook to the chin and the face of the champion thrown by Conteh. And now the champion continuing to jab, and he scores with a left and a right, and gets some enthusiasm out of the crowd in Atlantic City. Of course, he is the favorite, and he is fighting just 50 miles from his hometown of South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Well, I think they've told him he's a little bit behind here, as he is on my card. I feel that he's got to come out and establish himself as the champion. He certainly has not done that. They've been seesawing back and forth. He just can't find the range. He's getting frustrated.
Well, Conteh reminds me, Dr. Pacheco, of a fellow you were. Oh, a great right hand thrown. Perhaps the best punch thus far by the champion.
Absolutely beautiful right hand. He's been hit by several right hands in this fight, but that was the best one.
Well, that's what he's been trying to do. He's been trying to jab him, and been missing with the left hook, and missing a lot with the right hand, as he did in rounds 1, 2, and 3. But that time he was right on the money.
It did not seem to affect John Conteh, however, and that's amazing, because that was a hard punch. Those are all very hard blows. The right hand missed, but then a hook to the body hit.
Well, the action picking up here in round 5. As we said, it's scheduled for 15. Many don't expect it to go that far. Again, a wild right, another wild right, and a left hook followed up, and he drops his gloves, perhaps in frustration.
Absolutely in frustration and rage at himself for missing what looked like an amateurish set of punches. He's just really frustrated here.
Well, you look at them, they're right in front of one another, and many times, Ferdy, you wonder if perhaps there might be a butt, because they're close. Their heads are relatively close. You get 2 fighters here that are both styles are somewhat similar, as we've seen through these first 5 rounds. As we run under 21 seconds now remaining in round 5. Oh, another good right catches Conteh, and he's got him against the ropes, falls into with a left of the body. But Conteh, the boxer that he is and the mover, gets out of it as we go less than 7 seconds now in round 5.
Oh, there's a butt. There's a butt. The referee, Carlos Padilla, is looking at it. There's a butt at the bell.
The challenger, obviously he has no marks, but here it is, the replay of round 5, and Ferdy, you're going to see where it happened right here.
They're coming together at the end of this series of blows, right there. You could see his head coming in, and it's curious that the man that does the biting never gets cut, but the other man is in obvious pain.
Okay, that was it. The butt at the close of round 5. It is scheduled for 15, and just how much of an effect that'll have on the champion, we will see beginning here in round 6 from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Obviously, it looks like, as we look at the face of the champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad, as Conteh goes to work with a right, trying to get up there if there is damage, perhaps trying to inflict more damage on the cut if there is one. But as you said, Ferdy, it doesn't look like there was that much damage. It was done high on the forehead, if any place, and above the eye.
But it gives John Conteh an added impetus here. I mean, often after a butt like that, which was at the end of the round very, very painful to Saad Muhammad, it brings John Conteh up, and you can see he started out. There's some blood. There's some blood trickling down the nose of Saad Muhammad. Obviously, Conteh sees that. Obviously, Conteh is going after it. He's opened up with several strong right hands to the forehead, and I think Conteh is really up for this round.
Well, there's a good close-up shot, and you see the blood trickling down the left side of the nose of the champion. And yet we have not had a close-up to see exactly where the cut is, but it appears that perhaps it's just above the, between the eyes, perhaps above the bridge of the nose.
That's
high low on the forehead, rather.
That's exactly where it looks like. Right where the bridge of the nose meets the brow, between the eyes. Looks like he's got a nick and a cut. Also looks like he's got a swelling of the left eye. I must say, Conteh with that jab has been doing some work, which is beginning to become apparent here in the 6th round.
You've had a lot of experience with fighters that have been cut, Ferdy. What is the problem now that faces the champion, as we obviously saw the blood coming down? When can it become a problem to him?
When that blood starts mixing with sweat and getting in his eyes and affecting his vision, that's a problem. The other problem is psychological. It's a long way to go to round 15.
Oh, great left hook by the challenger, Conteh.
Great left hook by Conteh. He's got to go to 15, Matthew has, and he's been cut before, and he's been in this territory, and he hates the thought of having to fight with a cut, but he's got to do it.
Well, it's been a pretty even fight. You had the challenger Conteh ahead slightly through the first 5 rounds, and I would say that he is the more aggressive. He seems to be carrying the fight now to the champion, who is backing up a little bit and seems a little bit frustrated. You see him flicking at air right there, and another look at the blood that's sort of flowing steadily down the nose. Doesn't look much worse than it did from the beginning, but great left jabs there as the champion wipes away the blood with his right glove.
Great series of jabs by Conteh. Conteh knows he's got to repeat that jab 2, 3, 4 times for it to be effective on a cut, and he's doing it. And he's hooking off the jab, which is even more interesting. Oh, a good combination by John Conteh, and he's attacking with everything.
Well, it's his fight here as we go on to 20 seconds. So this is round 6, and the action here picking up considerably. A right fist, a wild right by the challenger Conteh, who comes back and takes a jab that pushes his head back from the champion. But Conteh still pursuing as we're less than 5 seconds here in round 6. Well, the champion pulling up his trunks and slowly getting off his stool, and the challenger John Conteh in the dark trunks ready to go to work here in round 7. Scheduled for 15. A butt at the end of round 5 to the head of the champion, Saad Muhammad, the Philadelphian. And a big round, number 6 for the challenger Conteh as he pushes the champion across the ring and into the ropes, and they're separated by the referee, Carlos Padilla.
There's no question that the momentum of this fight has changed dramatically from the time of that butt. He's got blood coming down his nose. Conteh sensing that the title is his. If he just attacks that, he's going after it. And Matthew Saad Muhammad's left eye is beginning to swell up. Looks like it's closing, and he better get his attack going, or his title is going to go right out the boardwalk of Atlantic City.
And this is his first title defense, having won it some 13 months ago from Marvin Johnson. And you see the blood now trickling not only down the nose, but down the left side of the eye of the champion. Why, Purdy, is that blood that was coming down the nose now covering the left eye and coming down the left side of the eye?
Mr. Conteh's been popping that real good, and that cut is opening up. It's getting wider and longer. Now the blood is coming down both sides, down his nose and down the side. Mr. Matthew Saad Muhammad is in a lot of trouble with that cut, and Conteh knows it. He's coming after it with strong jabs. He's popping that right hand over and over and over again right on the cut.
Well, the action here really picking up as we're in round 7, almost at the halfway point now. This scheduled 15-rounder for the WBC light heavyweight champion. A very confident, a very eager and aggressive John Conteh in the dark trunks, pursuing the champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad.
Matthew Saad Muhammad seems to have had all the fight taken out of him. He's been extremely quiet through the last 2 rounds, and Conteh is beating him to the punch and belaboring that eye. He's throwing everything he's got. Look at that right hand. He just missed with it, but that was power in that right hand.
Well, he's sort of even jumping in with a left like he did there, and trying to score in combinations, throwing out the jab as you saw moments ago, scoring not with 1, but 1, 2, 3 rapid-fire left jabs to the chin of the badly cut champion, who wipes away the blood, and holding his hands up high now, trying to protect that cut that was caused by a butt at the end of round 5. Less than 25 seconds now in round 7. It's a good one. It's coming from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Matthew content to just while away the rest of his life. He's blown this round again. And he's got to come up for the next round, or else he's in trouble.
Well, he specially brought in a cut man, and as we count down round 7, we'll see what has to happen in the corner of the champion. Saad Muhammad and that bad cut over the left eye, Purdy.
They're putting in a solution, which is Moncell's solution. It's in ointment, and it's illegal. It's ferric chloride, and it burns the tissue and stops it.
Okay, the bell for round 8, and out we come, and let's see as what is the champion there? Look, the challenger is blinking, Purdy. You notice that?
He's been blinking through 2 or 3 rounds. I don't know what they're doing to him in the corner, or if it's just a nervous blink. I'll tell you who's going to be blinking. It's Matthew Saad Muhammad. If any of that ferric chloride gets in his eye, it burns like a hot poker. That's why it's illegal. It can burn eye tissue. Let me tell you, if this fight was in England, he would be in jeopardy of losing on a disqualification. In England, they can only put adrenaline and Vaseline, which really does not stop cuts, which means that John Conteh would be on the verge of winning the light heavyweight championship of the world on cuts.
Well, the point that comes to mind, Purdy, as we look at the opening seconds of round 8, is why, with all those officials that the New Jersey Boxing Commission has at ringside and the doctor attending physician, why they didn't notice that, why they're not looking up there and checking that and seeing what they're using there.
Well, they had the referee. If you saw, as we picked up the fight, there was a blue shirt in the corner. That was the referee looking at the corner work. Apparently, he was not concerned about it. So we proceed on with action.
Well, the champion trying to defend for the first time his WBC title has his work cut out from him here. The first 3 or 4 rounds fairly even, but it's been all Conteh for rounds 5, 6, 7, and now we are midway through round 8.
Ever since the butt in the 5th round, it's been all John Conteh. His problem is, how much can he afford to let go of all that pressure and all of that energy without getting tired? If he gets tired, and Matthew Saad, who has not been doing a whole lot of fighting, still has his reserve of energy, he's in trouble down the stretch, if it gets to the stretch.
Well, one thing to keep in mind, we said earlier that when the champion won the title, the WBC title from Marvin Johnson, he was cut badly, not only as he is now of the left eye, but of both eyes, and he came on to knock out his opponent and win the title in the 12th round. We are only in 8. He is cut badly, and he is being rather, I would say, cautious a little bit here, trying to stay away from the jab, the machine gun jab that Conteh has been putting out. 2 good jabs there, backs up the challenger, thrown by the champion in the white trunks, Muhammad.
Well, you can see that even with the potent anticoagulant that they put in his eye, Matthew Saad Muhammad is bleeding freely from the corner of that eye, and the eye continues to puff up. If it continues this way, it's going to obscure his vision. He's not going to be able to see out of that eye.
Well, I would say under the circumstances, as the referee Carlos Padilla breaks him up for the 2nd time here with less than 20 seconds to go in round 8, that the champion seems to be weathering the storm here pretty much, and Conteh being a little bit cautious, and a warning, perhaps a little problem with the lacing on the gloves of the champion. And the time on your screen continues, but it was stopped by the official timer as the challenger Conteh continues to pursue the champion here as round 8 comes to an end. Well, we're about ready for the bell for round 10. Round 9 continue to belong to that man right there, the challenger, John Conteh of England. And seconds continue to work on the damaged left eye of the champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad.
As you can see, the referee is patting him. You see that arm coming in as Padilla saying, step out of the way as the action starts for round 10. Padilla is concerned about the eye. He's looking at this cut. He's looking at what they're putting in there. Right now, they're putting in that solution, which is almost like cement. It burns the tissue shut, and he's not bleeding as much as he has been.
It's scheduled for 15 rounds. This is Bob Halloran along with the fight doctor, Dr. Ferdy Pacheco, and the challenger, John Conteh, continuing with that jab, and the blood really flowing freely now, as you can see down the left side of the face of the champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad.
That gives you an idea of the...
Oh, a good left there sort of staggered the challenger. A good left, and you can see the people on their feet there in Atlantic City.
Conteh blinking and winking away, but he's been doing that for 3 or 4 rounds now, so it's not because there's anything in his eyes, because that's his nervous tick that he's got. As I started to say, you can see the blood is coming down. Gives you an idea of the depth of that cut, because when that bleeds, even though they're putting all of that solution in there, you know you've got a pumper going inside.
Well, we are only into the first 30 seconds of this round 10, and despite the fact that we saw in the corner the solution applied, but the first time that a blow was struck by the challenger Conteh to the face of the champion, the blood started flowing. So really the solution, Ferdy, Dr. Pacheco, not that effective.
No, and it's a measure of the depth of that cut, is all we can say in summary. Conteh knows he's got to keep the pressure on, but can his energy hold out to do it? You saw Matthew Saad begin this round with a series of heavy left hooks. He means business. He's got to start getting Conteh off of him, or else that cut keeps getting deeper and wider and deeper and wider.
But one thing that appears rather obvious, despite the severity of the cut, Ferdy, he doesn't seem to be, his vision doesn't seem to be impaired. At least it doesn't appear that way. Once in a while he wipes away the blood, but he seems to be still effective, still pumping the jab out there as he's doing there and continuing to miss those rights. And Conteh's continuing to blink, and why he's been blinking for the last 2 or 3 rounds, as he's doing here in round 10, remains quite puzzling to me.
I think it's a mannerism on his part. You're quite right, though. Conteh has got... now he's starting to back up. He's starting to lose the steam and momentum. It had quite right in that the cut has not bothered Matthew Saad Muhammad. It is not affecting his vision. apparently he is starting to overcome that lack of will that he's had in the last 3 rounds.
It would appear to me that on your card, I think you have had Conteh a little bit ahead up to this point, at least since round 5, and following that, that butt that occurred just in the closing seconds of round 5 to the left eye of the champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad, in the white trunks, now on the left, pursuing the challenger as they come, and the referee, Carlos Padilla, pushes them apart as we count down the seconds now for round 10. That is the bell for round 11, and out they come once again, meeting in the center of the ring. Scheduled for 15, it's for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Will the champion, in his first title defense, shown in the white trunks, be able to pull it out? He has been trailing since about round 5, and this is round 11. You can see that solution over the left eye being guarded by the gloves of the champion, Saad Muhammad. He is the favorite going in, and I think he's obviously got his work cut out from here in the closing round.
Saad has started to turn his fight around in the last round, and you have to compliment Adolfo Ruticchio in the way that he's taken care of that eye. A good corner man is trying to protect the championship. A good cornerman can save the championship, and he's done it right up to this point for Saad. Now Saad has to take over and do the rest, because this is all in Saad Muhammad's hands.
One thing to keep in mind, that the champion in his last 10 fights has won 8 by knockout, 5 in a row. He has never in his long and very, very illustrious career, leading up to him becoming the champion some 13 months ago, gone beyond 12 rounds. And of course, he won that championship over Marvin Johnson with a 12th round knockout.
Right now he's out jabbing, which is the first time in the fight he's been doing this. He's out jabbing John Conteh. There's been a remarkable absence of clinches, a remarkable absence of a body attack on the part of either man. Basically, they've been headhunting.
And that was one of the few times that the referee, Carlos Padilla, had to, as you mentioned, separate the two fighters, and he is keeping his eye on the champion and on the cut that he has. You see lots of blood now coming down and covering the trunks, the white trunks of Matthew Saad Muhammad. You see him taking a look, Padilla, the referee. Every time he separates them, he will check that cut.
Imperceptibly, the tempo of this fight has changed. Matthew Saad Muhammad started in the last round to make his comeback bid down the stretch, and now he's starting to take the edge on John Conteh, who is slowing down considerably, as he figured to if this fight went into the stretch.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Ferdy, how he was an old 28 that challenged John Conteh, and of course, when you get past 10 and into this, and the pace that these two light heavyweights have been keeping up, 175 pounds for Conteh, 172.5 for the champion. You know that somewhere along here that conditioning is going to be the tell-all. That one of the other fighters is going to slow down, and one is going to be getting his second win, so to speak. As we go under now 18, 17 seconds in round 11.
And the man that's slowing up is John Conteh, and the guy that's getting his second win is Matthew Saad Muhammad.
Well, you see some blood on the forehead now of Conteh, but I'm sure that is coming from the cut of the champion as we end round 11. The bell for round 12, and will the champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad, in the white trunks, be able to pull it out? Ferdy, your card up to this point, as we see a good left that puts the head back of the champion, Muhammad.
Well, to recap the action up to this point, round 1 to 4 was about an even round, but at round 5 there was a butt, and from 6 to 9, Conteh attacked, and the champion faded. Although from 10 to 11, the champion has come out, and Conteh is fading. Conteh's corner is screaming and hollering that something's going in to Matthew Saad Muhammad's eye, too much of it, and there has been a complaint lodged, but nothing has been done so far. People are just looking at his eye, and of course, since it's bleeding so much, there's not much to be said.
Well, the unmarked challenger in the blue trunks, the dark trunks, is Conteh on the right of your screen now. And there have been no knockdowns in this fight, although there has been, as we said, lots of action, but neither fighter has been seriously stunned. There have been several good punches, but nothing devastating to put anybody down or really put them in serious trouble.
Matthew Saad just landed a good right hand. There he is. He's looking for the right hand. It won't land that way. He's got to punch in combinations, as he has been punching in combinations. Getting back to that complaint from the corner, I cannot see why they didn't complain earlier. Angelo Dundee, the great cut man, always looks across to see what the other guy's doing, and he screams and hollers if he sees black on the cut. They, of course, have a full English journalistic contingent here, and they have been screaming and hollering, so that Conteh is rather upset himself. He's blinking and winking away as usual there.
We were told, Ferdy, that there has been a protest of sorts leveled by the corner of the challenger Conteh regarding the substance.
As well they should. They should be raising all kind of canes so that they won't put it in there. Right now, it's what's keeping Matthew Saad Muhammad's title hopes alive.
Well, he's been missing badly here, and perhaps he's trying for that one punch, and he takes a good left hook to the chin, thrown by Conteh as he backs the champion against the ropes and tries to work inside, under and up.
Conteh seems to have gotten his second win from those 2 rounds of rest he had, because he is back to the attack, nice and fresh, and he signals him back. The champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad, signals him back into the ropes.
And the crowd loves it.
Says, come on, sucker, come back here. Of course, John Conteh's got all that experience. He doesn't need to go back there.
Well, he missed a wild left there. The champion did. He almost fell to his knees.
That's what he was looking for, a sucker punch, as John Conteh came in, and John Conteh's just too sharp for that. Says, no, sucker, you can't get me with that.
Well, we move under 20 seconds now, and the champion obviously got to be a little bit frustrated here, as you see the fighters now being separated by the referee Carlos Padilla, and we've seen more clinches in here in round 12 than we've seen in most of the fight. A good left, straight left, sort of backs up the challenger Conteh, and now we are coming to the end of round 12. Round 14 coming up, and round 13 belonged pretty much to the challenger, John Conteh, Ferdy.
Well, John Conteh's got to keep coming on, but the bombs that were landed by Matthew Saad Muhammad were very impressive in the 13th round. Now, look at the treatment that they're doing to his eye. Look at the top. He's got massive amounts of ointment in there. Now they're working on the bottom. The bottom is all boggy, and it's beginning to crack up as we begin the 14th round at the bell.
And, of course, the champion has got his work cut out from here. He came into this thing, the 15th rounder for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World, his first title defense. And that remains a big question now. We have a very close fight, Ferdy. I know you've got it very close. It was early in the early rounds, as you said, in the recap during round 12. The butt, of course, in round 5 that opened that devastating cut over the left eye, which now seems to be in control somewhat due to the excellent corner work of the champion. But he knows what he's got to do here. Whether or not his corner has told him he's behind in points, I'm sure they have.
Matthew Saad Muhammad's been behind all through this fight, and if things don't change, he can kiss his title goodbye, because he has not been able to get to John Conteh, and John Conteh has not worn out to the extent that everybody predicted. It's now desperation time. It's now throw everything you got and hope that something lands. Because
Another reminder that he was losing when he won the title a year ago, but then in round 12, he knocked out his opponent, Marvin Johnson. Let's see if Conteh, his corner has told him that can happen at any time with the great punching power of this South Philadelphian Matthew Saad Muhammad.
Well, Conteh's got another factor. He's fighting in the United States. He's not fighting in England, so you know if there is an edge, it's going to go to the American champion. And to win a title, you've got to win it big. So he's coming on. Look at those repeated jabs by John Conteh. He's almost throwing caution to the wind as if he knows he is not about to let it go. A good right hand by the champion. And back comes Conteh with a left hook that misses by a mile. And now look at the way Matthew Saad Muhammad is measuring him. He's got mayhem in his eyes. Right hand that missed, another right that missed.
Well, he's picking up the pace here, perhaps with that right hand that he scored seconds ago. He can sense that something happened to the challenger, John Conteh, because he's really going after him now.
He has been lucky with his right hand. He's hit some very good right hand shots.
Another good left. Oh, and he puts him down, and through the ropes goes the challenger, John Conteh. And he's up on his knees now. This is round 14. We're about halfway through.
He thinks he's won it, but Conteh's in desperate trouble, but he's getting up. Conteh's getting up. That's incredible. Back comes Matthew Saad Muhammad to the attack. Conteh's not backing up. He's standing there.
Plenty of time to go here in round 14, perhaps more than a minute. Conteh comes back. He ties up the champion, pushes him into the ropes, and the referee Padilla puts him apart.
And John Conteh's in desperate trouble. His legs won't function like he wants. They're wobbly. Look at his legs wobble as he tries to come forward. He's reeling back, and Matthew is loading up on every punch. There's home run written on every punch with 22 seconds to go. Can Matthew weather this 17th?
Another good left, and puts him back again, and down goes the challenger Conteh for the second time here.
The bell can save him as they start the count. But will he get up on his own? Yes, he's getting up. Now he's asked him, do you know where you're at? Matthew Saad Muhammad thinks he won the fight, but the bell's going to save him.
And it's a very leg-weary challenger. John Conteh back to his corner. Into the corner come the seconds, pouring water over him. Let's go back and look at the replay. A big, big round for the champion. There's a left, Bertie, followed by a right that misses.
And now that left hand is straight left, put him down for the first knockdown, and it was a very hard punch just as John was coming in. The kind that's devastating, but he got up. What holds John Conteh up, I don't know, because he's got to be extremely weary, and both of those knockdowns were legitimately strong knockdowns. Now let's get to the second knockdown. In this one, Matthew Saad Muhammad measuring. There's the left and the right, and now look at that left hand, exactly the same punch that put him down. Another left. He's back on the ropes, and he's going down.
A tremendous round, and the crowd in Atlantic City on its feet as they come out, and Padilla, the referee, asking them to touch gloves. The 15th and final round. Conteh down twice in round 14. Can he get through the 15th round and perhaps pull this out on points, because he built up a tremendous advantage through the early and middle rounds?
Those two knockdowns under the point system has cost him quite a bit. Now Conteh is being warned again for butting, although that was certainly not an intentional butt. Because of this 10-point round system, in which each round is 10 points to the winner and less to the loser, Saad Muhammad got 10, but 7 points were awarded to Conteh. That means he lost virtually a 2-round advantage. So this fight is pretty even. The 15th round tells the tale, Bob, as we come into the championship being on the line.
Well, 2 knockdowns in the 14th. Will that be enough to pull it out for the champion? Will he go home to South Philadelphia, successfully defending his light heavyweight title for the first time against the very worthy challenger from England, John Conteh? Both fighters, Bertie, appearing very tired now. The champion trying to end it here, but he's weary. He can't get the punches he wants to into the challenger, and the challenger trying to tie up, but then coming back with 3 jabs to the chin, doing a little dance step and coming in, and their heads very, very close here.
And John Conteh knows he's pacing himself for the end of this round. He knows he has to come on like the charge of the Light Brigade. He has to throw caution to the wind. He has to take this round, and so far he's not doing it. So far, Matthew Franklin is doing it. Matthew Saad Muhammad is coming on. It's his title. He's going to keep it. He wants it. The other man, John Conteh.
Have a good left, Bertie. Crosses the face and makes the blinking Conteh blink even more. And his legs, look at him, looking like rubber as he's putting everything he has and all his powers within him to stay in there and perhaps pull this out.
Conteh wants it bad, but he just doesn't have anything left in the gas tank.
Missing a right is and now we see blood for the first time here in the closing minutes of this fight coming from the right eye of the challenger, John Conteh.
And Matthew Saad Muhammad has taken this 15th round like the true champion that he is.
Oh, good lefts by the challenger. He's not giving up, Bertie. He's going to fight this thing out to the end.
He's got blood coming. It's bothering him. But he had just staged a mini comeback just then. Matthew Saad Muhammad not intimidated and not bleeding, by the way. His cut has been stopped. And now it's Conteh that's doing the bleeding. 24 seconds to
go. Good right hand. Almost puts Conteh down for the 3rd time in the fight. He went down twice in the 14th round, and he comes back and ties up the champion. And the referee has to shove them apart as we move now under 10 seconds. A wild right to the back of the head of the challenger, and the challenger comes back and fighting gamely, trying to pull it out as this fight is coming to an end.
What a fight!
In Atlantic City now, let's go up to the ring for the official scoring.
The scoring as follows. Judge Harry Gibbs of England scores it. Matthew Saad Muhammad, 144. John Conteh, 143. Judge Charlie Spina of the United States scores it. Matthew Saad Muhammad, 146. John Conteh, 141. Referee Carlos Padilla of the Philippines scores it. Matthew Saad Muhammad, 146. John Conteh, 142. The winner and still World Boxing Council light heavyweight champion, Matthew Saad Muhammad.
And obviously very, very happy and elated champion Matthew Saad Muhammad, Ferdy.
And at least a portion of that title belongs to Adolfo Reticchio for his brilliant corner work in stopping the deep cut for 9 full rounds.
This people at ringside felt that although Conteh went down twice in the 14th, he still may have been far enough ahead in points to get the decision, Ferdy.
Well, Matthew Saad Muhammad certainly proved one thing, Bob. Despite the fact that he'd never gone more than 12 rounds before, he showed his stamina in those 2 14th round knockdowns of a very tough fighter.
Immediately after the fight, Conteh's handlers claimed that there was a foreign substance on the gloves of Matthew Saad Muhammad, and that caused the vision problems that Conteh apparently had.